baby Dogo. He'll come up here. Here's your good boy. Here's your good boy. Look at the camera. Aren't you cute? Aren't you the cutest? You know you are. You know you are.
Have you ever wondered if a Dogo Argentino and a cat can get together and be friends? Well, that's what today's episode is about. If you haven't been here before, welcome. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. It's Nicole from Dogo Argentino, USA, the channel where we entertain and educate regarding the beautiful and majestic Dogo Argentino. So let's talk about the purpose of the Dogo. If you are just getting into your research, this is a rustic hunting breed that was originally designed to hunt boar and puma, also known as mountain lions. And so they have been selected over the generations to have very, very strong hunting instincts. And unfortunately for cat lovers, one of their prey was indeed a large cat. So does that mean you can never have a cat if you have a Dogo? Depends on the Dogo. And it also depends on the leadership in the home. A lot of what is going to be tolerated is based on what the pack leader determines is indeed tolerable. So if you do not have good control over your Dogo Argentino and you are not being consistent and you don't exercise the dog and the dog doesn't look at you like God, you are going to have a mixed bag in terms of the results regarding cats. Now let's examine some of my own Dogos. Zarina, who is a Russian import, loves cats. She had a cat in Russia, ironically named Squirrel, and it was a white cat. It was a tiny cat. She loved that cat. She thought that cat was wonderful. Literally, the cat's meow. See what I did there? Yeah, she really, really liked cats. Now, she gave birth to both Emma and Rogue. Rogue is the pirate female you sometimes see in my videos. Rogue went to live with her new family when she was about 9.5, 10 weeks old. And that family had cats. And Rogue absolutely loves cats. Rogue thinks she's a cat. Rogue sits with the cats. She loves the cats. She acts like a cat. She sits on the ledge of a window like a cat. She thinks she's a cat. She also went to that family and they had, I believe it was a Labradoodle who passed away shortly after she got there. So she became a cat's Dogo, so to speak. That was her family pack. She's got a couple of cats. Really likes cats, doesn't chase them, doesn't fuss with them. She loves cats. And her owner sends me pictures all the time of her with the cat between her paws or her sleeping with the cats. She's totally chill with it. Now, Emma has not been raised with cats. I don't personally have cats. And if I were to introduce a cat to Emma and not intervene as the pack leader, Emma would probably do her best to dispatch that cat. And if she caught it, she definitely would, in my opinion, based on what I know, assuming that I did not intervene. Now, Emma and Rogue are litter mates. It is possible, but I have never seen any research on it, that cat friendliness is a gene. Most of personality is actually genetic, not environmental. They think up to like somewhere between 80 and 90% of personality is genetic and not environmental when it comes to dogs. And there's even more research that's coming out saying that people are similar, that a lot of personality is actually completely genetic and not environmental at all. At least in terms of it has a genetic predisposition, the environment can further shape that disposition one way or the other. And so I think that it is a reasonable supposition to say that Zarina has a cat positive gene and Emma didn't get it, but Rogue did. Now, I think that Zeus is kind of somewhere in between. I don't think he would try to dispatch a cat, but I definitely think he would chase the cat to the best of his ability because he really enjoys chasing small game. We go rabbit hunting quite a lot, and he loves to chase rabbits, and he eats whole rabbit. So I would not necessarily, if I were not to intervene, and that the reason I keep saying that is because I can pull my dogs off anything because I've worked very hard to do that obedience wise. So if they flush a deer, I can pull them off the deer. If they flush a rabbit, I can pull them off the rabbit. So if they saw a cat, I could certainly pull them off it in terms of obedience training. But I'm talking about, like, imagine I'm not home and this animal's home with this other animal. What would the likely result be? I think Zarina would love it. I think Emma would try to dispatch it. And I think Zeus would try to chase it until exhaustion. I don't think he would actually try to dispatch it. At least not of his own accord, you know, like, I just don't see him as being that way. He's really driven for rabbits. He really likes to rabbit hunt. Although I did have a commenter in my audience tell me that there is a terrible virus in the rabbit population. It is currently on the western United States, heading east, and they're calling it bunny Ebola. And it is not Ebola at all, but it has the same symptoms as Ebola. It is a hemorrhagic fever. And I read in the story, it was terrible, that there was a rabbit farmer. He's like, on Friday, I had 200 rabbits. On Sunday, I had 0 rabbits, is how fast it's moving through the population. It just, similar to Ebola, just causes them to hemorrhage until they pass away. So we may not be rabbit hunting for very much longer. I do not know, and didn't see by the article, whether this bunny Ebola is both in the wild population or if it's only in the farm population, but either or, those populations will eventually touch and it will jump to one or the other. So we're probably not going to be rabbit hunting for terribly much longer. But currently, they do enjoy hunting rabbits. Now, it's interesting to me the differences of personality and how, as a leader, you can affect that personality. So, for example, Emma and Zarina are extremely prey-driven. Zeus is chase-driven. Now, Emma and Zarina want to catch and kill their prey. Zeus more wants to just chase it. He really likes the chase. And it's not that he isn't willing to kill something small, but I honestly think that, you know, if I was observing his behavior, what he really wants to do is stretch his legs, run as quickly as possible, as long as possible. That is his motivation. In some ways, he reminds me more of a greyhound, where it's more about the chase and less about the catch. Whereas Emma and Zarina are incredibly driven, and it is definitely about the catch. But interesting, like I said, Zarina loves cats. Zarina doesn't really chase cats. Zarina is not into that. But if we have a neighborhood cat that tends to walk on our fence, and he makes Zeus and Emma crazy, where Zarina's just like, yeah, it's a cat, so what? Now, part of that could be just the way she was raised, but I tend to think that it's genetic. So let's say that you are a cat person. I'm going to describe my opinion, which is not guaranteed because I don't know you, I don't know your environment, I don't know your Dogo Argentino. But this is my advice if you want to get a cat. If you already have cats and you want to introduce a Dogo puppy, you need to do it very young. By very young, I mean under 12 weeks of age. Because under that 12 week of age, the Dogo is more open to new experiences. Their brain is still learning about the world, and a mature cat is likely to take a swipe or two, connect with the nose, give the puppy a scratch, and the puppy will associate that with, oh, I've got to respect that. That thing is dangerous and it can hurt me. Because puppies don't have the same prey drive that an adult dog does, chances are, if you're good and you have good leadership in your home, you have a better than average chance, in my opinion, of making that a successful transition. If you even have a kitten and a Dogo puppy and you introduce them at the same time, again, they need to be heavily supervised. I think that you could probably make that a successful transition, only because I've seen it successful with both Zarina and I've seen it successful with Rogue. But it depends so heavily on the Dogo Argentino, because Emma is not that way. Emma would definitely try to dispatch a cat if she could. and would definitely probably enjoy doing it, to be honest. She's got that warrior instinct in her heart. Now, if you have an older Dogo Argentino and you're thinking about getting a cat, I would say unless that Dogo is incredibly submissive and unusually not prey driven, that would probably not be a really good plan. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I'm saying it would probably be a lot of work, and once you were out of the mix, as you can't be with your dog or your cat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that things could go awry. And I have heard stories of people where it was all good until they left the animals alone together, and then, you know, nature took its course and the cat was dispatched by the Dogo Argentino. So if you already have a mature Dogo Argentino and you really want a cat, I would probably advise against it. I don't think that's going to work out well. Puppies, I think, are a little more malleable in terms of their mental flexibility. I think you have a better chance of getting that to work. But bear in mind, genetically, this is an animal that was designed to hunt large, dangerous cats. And because they're a hunting dog, that prey drive is very strong. They're very, very quick. They have incredibly strong jaw strength. And if you combine that with a prey drive, I personally think you're asking for trouble unless you introduce them at a young age. And even then, to a certain degree, genetically, I do think you're taking a risk. So I just wanted to give you my opinion. I am not the be-all and end-all of cat knowledge. I have dogs. I did show cats, but I haven't shown them in years and years. I prefer dogs in general. So I hope that just from a pure perspective, that is helpful to you if you were wondering. So I think that in terms of cats, it can go this way or it can go that way. Take my advice for what it is. And I hope, as always, you have a Dogo-tastic day. Thanks. Ciao.
Oh, yeah.